So what is the DevOps solution from VegaF regarding handling SAP PI or PO in a better way? So one of the things that we do in this tool, it's a standalone tool that you can run on a laptop for proof of concept, but preferably you want to run it on a server. And it does give you quite a number of different features that we'll go through as a part of this process. So the first thing is we have full access and understand all the directory and repository objects, and we understand the changes that have happened. So I've created a change here. So this is a transport that we have created. In this transport we have an export, and we have a file and a ICO that we make change. We want to know what was changed as part of this, so we can go in, we can do a compare between these, we can see the date, and we can see here that the output file name has changed. So that's good. We know what's going on in this transport. And here we have the full export, and we can see, here we have the export, the CTS transport that we are integrated with. We can then assign it to a ticket. With some kind of a description of why we're making it. We can specify which landscape this is a part of, and we have a landscape here in our CTS system. We can add a Jira or Solman ID or whatever system ID we have, and a description for this. The idea is then we create this ticket, and once we've created this ticket, we can see information about what's going on in it. We can see the objects that's a part of this. So what we'll do is we will just say attach dependent object. This will figure out all the objects that's a part of this and attach them to it. So we can see we got this the export, we got all the objects involved in it. We can then go in, we can look up all the relevant test cases we have for this system. So for this interface, I have a number of different messages, and just normally you obviously want to select all of these different test cases, but based on the system, it will figure out what are the different test cases you have. You can then assign it, and you can run it on any of the systems in the landscape. And obviously we want to run it on our development system, and then it will send in the same messages into the system. We will then receive the output, and we will then be able to see how did this change make any impact. We can look at the differences here, and we can see there are some differences in the numbers that have changed, and this is so because something else we have changed in the message mapping. But for now, we say this is good. We can massage test cases to make sure that they always are valid. So we can just go and create a new update as test case, and that means that we will always be using valid test cases in our test libraries. So next up is we start the transport, and here in the transport we will then see all the objects that's a part of this transport, and we can go in here. We can see these are the things that is on our transport. We have options to do configuration, and we have options here. So let's just try this configuration here. We can go in, we will see what this value looks like at all different systems as a part of this process. And the idea is we can then change some of these parameters along the way. So we want to make sure that this one is called D, and we'll just use D here also. We can change these along the way also to something else that's rel. So we have the option to make changes to the different objects, configuration objects, once these are imported. That means once we can see this transport has been imported on these systems, we know what to deal with it. So now we have saved it, we can activate it, and that means now once we are fully importing this to our system, it will then be able to handle this. So now I need to take the CTS transport and import it to the target system, and I need to do that normally, the normal release procedures you have. So I'll just pause until that's done. So now it should have been updated. We can check the import, and this will then handle all the synchronization, make sure it's working. We can see the data that's going on, that this has been configured and everything's working as expected. And now the idea is we'll transport it to production, which we have not set up here yet in our landscape, but you can see that it's possible to configure all of these along the way. If we had completed the transport, we could set it to resolve, but we cannot do that because of the smaller landscape. We can just create a report, and this report will then contain all the information that we have created and selected as a part of this. So we can see here we created the basic information. These are all the objects that has been changed as a part of this process. So we know on which system, what are the different IQs and everything like that has been changed. We know this is the test case that we ran. This is the errors that we had. So we got information about the errors that we had. And if we run it again, this would be empty then. We can see all the objects that has been imported, when the transport has been imported, and everything like that. So with this, we get a lot of information about the transport, and we can use this then to put it back to Jira, Solman, ServiceNow, to document what we have done as a part of this change. And that is the basic process of what this is able to do. There's a lot of things regarding the testing that you can create test cases really simple just by clicking some icons, record messages, add them to a test case, for instance, finance or HR, and then it will create test cases for this without you having to do more. And you can reuse these test cases, massage them, and make sure they always are current. We also have a support tool that allows you to fetch messages from the system and make sure that if there's something failed, you automate this. But check out the VegaF testing tool for the test part, and the alerting tool for the alert and handling process. I hope this gives a brief insight about what the Figaf tool can do with regards to DevOps for the SAP PI PO platform. And if you do not have CTS Plus, we also have our own integrated transport management system that's really easy to set up, that allow you to have full view of what's going on in your transports. So go check it out, figaf.com/DevOps.